Hi, I'm Shark Whitebeard here at Shark's Tavern making another video. The name of this video is called Phantoms and Apparitions. And there's a lot of like pirate stories and sailor stories about legends, superstition, paranormal things that happen to the pirates and sailors out in the ocean. There's all kinds of stuff about that the sailors and pirates, people of that era, were very, superstitious and believed in supernatural events and stuff, and there's stories about things happening out in the high seas. And I always felt kind of somewhat of a kindred spirit with these folks, can identify with them. I think what the deal was that you realize when you're out there that you're out there on the ocean. There's all kinds of multitude of things that can happen, and you can end up being dead or killed or whatever. And then there's the other side of it is that maybe you have some kind of dangerous situation and somehow you get through it, and you wonder if there's somebody up there pulling the strings that are guiding these things, or is it just all just coincidence? So I think it tends to get a group of people kind of thinking and maybe believing in the paranormal, supernatural events. So for myself, that's what I'm open-minded to it. I'm not saying I believe everything, but I've had a few things in my life, being that I fought wildland fire for 28 years, did all kinds of stuff. I ended most of my career, the end of my career as an engine captain with different federal agencies. And I could tell you a story about the paranormal stuff that happened to me. So the way the story goes is, back in the day, this is back in the 80s when I was fighting fire. I was just a firefighter, and we Back then, they didn't have any work rest guidelines. They just worked us as long as they wanted to. And they would, every once in a while, they pull some strings and said, okay, we're going to give you a day off. So I'd worked over a month fighting fire, putting in long hours. And they finally said, okay, we're going to give you 2 days off in a row, like a weekend, which I'd had a time off. And they said, okay, so you get 2 days off. So I thought, you know what, I just want to get the heck out of here. I was a young kid. I think it was like 25 or something like that. And I took off out of this small town in Northern California. I said, I'm going to head up. So I headed up to Oregon. I wound up in Medford. And I was having dinner somewhere, talking to, they had like a lounge and bar in this restaurant. I was talking to the bartender. I said, do they have any nightclubs, places to dance, meet women, whatever? I wasn't married or nothing like that. So he said, yeah, there's a place. And he told me this one nightclub. It's kind of like, he goes, it'll feel like you walk, like you're in Los Angeles somewhere, and walk into a nightclub in Los Angeles. And I thought, well, that's cool, because I was originally from Los Angeles, and I kind of was tired of the rural area for a while, and I said that'd be a kind of cool place. So I went into this one nightclub, and they had a DJ. I was in there dancing, drinking, hanging out, having a great old time. And then the next day, I thought, well, I'll take my time and drive back to work, And I thought, I had such a great time. I said, how about I'm just going to go out there again and hang out. I said, if I could probably party up there, this nightclub till about midnight, and then I can drive back to the fire station. I'll just push it all the way there to the fire station. And I should get back to the fire station about 4 in the morning. And we didn't come on duty till 9:30, and we had a station cook who'd have breakfast ready for us like at 8:30. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to push it from midnight till 4 in the morning. I'll get back to the fire station. The fire station we had back then was just a bunch of trailers set up. And I got into my trailer. I was going to go to sleep, and I said I'd get about 4.5 hours sleep, and then I could wake up and go eat breakfast, and I'd be ready to work the following day. So that was the plan. So I pushed it, and I was kind of tired, and I had been drinking somewhat, so by the time I got there, I probably wasn't drunk anymore. And I got there, and I got in my trailer, and I was ready to go to sleep, and it was all dark, and there was nobody around. And I just wanted to get some sleep. And all of a sudden, I started hearing people walking around outside. I started hearing muffled voices. I started hearing vehicles pulling in, coming in, and I thought, oh, we must have got a fire, some kind of lightning bust or something, and people are showing up at the fire station. At any moment, someone's going to knock on my door and wake me up and say, hey, let's go. We got a fire going, let's go. And nobody ever did. I just heard people walking around and stuff. There was like little walkways that are like gravel, so you hear people walking on the gravel. And the thing that kind of freaked me out at some point was I heard somebody walking on the gravel, and then coming up to my trailer, walking up on the steps. You hear them walking on the steps, and then I was figuring any moment they're going to knock on the door or something, or try the doorknob, see if I was there. And nothing happened. I never heard them walk away. They just stayed there. And this happened like maybe 3 times. 3 minutes later, I heard somebody walk to the gravel, walk up the steps, and just stop again. It happened like 3 times. After about the 3rd time, I reached over, and I could reach over from my bed, just lock the door. I said, man, they're going to have to knock on the door. I don't know who this is. And I was waiting, but I was really tired and really beat. And I said, man, I just want to get some sleep. I said, if they don't come wake me up, I'm just going to sleep. So this went on all night for a while. So finally, I just went to sleep, fell asleep. Woke up the next morning at 8:30, went up to the dining trailers, double wide trailers we had dining, and the cook was there, an elderly gal, really nice person. And she's making breakfast, and I asked, oh, were you here last night? She said, no, I just got here about an hour ago to make breakfast. And I looked around, I remember when I got up, I looked around, and there was nobody at the fire station. There was nobody there. As far as I know, there was no cars parked, people hadn't showed up in the night, there was nobody, I was the only one all night until the cook showed up an hour ago. And I said, wow, I was there all night by myself. Well, who did I hear walking around, muffled voices, vehicles coming up? I don't know. And so so I had breakfast, I was kind of thinking about it, that's pretty weird. So at one point I didn't want to seem crazy or nothing, so I talked to some of the local kids who'd worked there. And one day I asked, I said, hey, did you guys ever hear anything? You guys ever hear anything strange? You know, not that I have, but have you guys ever at this fire station? And everybody just, man, their eyes went wide and they all heads popped up and said, oh man, you heard it too, you seen it, or what'd you see, what'd you hear? And everybody had these stories about this place that basically, yeah, we kind of suspect this fire station's haunted. And people show up in this and then walking around, especially when nobody's around, if you're the one here. And it kind of freaked me out, and I didn't know what to think of it at the time, if I believed it or whatever. And then one day, one of the guys that worked there, he said, okay, I'm going to tell you what happened. He goes, I'm going to tell you what happened. And I said, okay, you know. He goes, look, you thought you heard muffled voices, people talking. He goes, what it was, he goes, if someone left the two-way radio on in the captain's trailer or in the command trailer, and it was on scan, and there were people were getting radio traffic back and forth all night, and you were kind of tired and everything, and you heard, that's what the muffled voices were. They were radio traffic from the two-way radios. That's what you heard. He said, people you thought you heard walking around, he goes, no, there's a bunch of little rabbits that live around here in little holes, and at night they come out and they hop around, and they hop around on the gravel walkway, and it sounds like somebody walking. He goes, that's what the walking steps were. He goes, the thing is, you got there, you had been drinking, your buzz wore off, because you know when you're hungover, everything, all the noises you hear. He goes, yeah, you were asleep or trying to sleep, and then you were hearing traffic on the highway, which is about a quarter mile away, because you were hearing cars, traffic up and down, because that's what it was. That's all it was. Just get in your head. That's what happened. And I thought, okay, well, I guess that explains everything, but there's no way that wasn't radio traffic. There wasn't bunnies hopping around on the gravel, and it wasn't traffic from the highway, because I slept there before and I heard bunnies and all this other thing. So that's my kind of paranormal story when I was living at that fire station back in the 80s. So please subscribe, share, like, give me a thumbs up, post a comment if you like stories like this. Thank you very much.